Hi, my name is Marc G. I've been teaching for 20 years. I worked in the Berkeley Unified School District, specializing in elementary education, specifically kindergarten through third grade. I worked for Kaplan Test Prep, teaching the GRE and GMAT and SAT classes. I also worked with their exchange student program, so I taught English, and I also taught the GRE and the GMAT to exchange students, so teaching American tests to people for whom English was not their first language. I've also taught guitar lessons extensively, piano, music theory as well. I've been a Pilates instructor, and I've coached ice hockey. So I've worked in a lot of different educational environments. I've taught students as young as 4. I've taught students as old as 70. I've worked in classes with as many people as 50, and I've taught a lot of one-on-one lessons. And I've learned 2 fundamental truths about learning in that period of time. The first is that we can learn how to do anything. A lot of people get really skeptical when I say things like that. There's a lot of people that I've talked to who have been like, oh, I can't learn this. I'm just not a math person. And what I've determined that goes back to a lot is some point in your education, there was maybe like a day that you weren't paying attention for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and there was something fundamental that you didn't learn that because you missed that one thing, everything that got put on top of it became harder and harder to learn. And your teacher didn't notice it because you were in a class with like 40 other kids, and your individual learning difficulties just didn't pop up. And you were young, so you were shy, and you didn't know how to work your way through it. And as a result, you just spent the rest of the semester or the rest of the year struggling to keep up with that one like 10-minute moment. And that could have gone away if you had had a teacher that was attentive, that noticed the exact point where you were starting to have difficulties and was able to stop and guide you through that one moment and iron out that one difficulty and work slowly and reinforce so that you were ready to move on to the next stage. And if we figure out what it is that you're having problems with, and I mean down to a really specific detail, and like iron out that detail before we move on to other stuff, then you'll find that the material is a lot easier to learn. The second fundamental truth that I've learned about education in that time is that when we learn that way, when we can, when we can take our time with our difficulties and move in a kind of relaxed pace and reinforce things, we actually really enjoy the process of learning, and we want to do it more. We embrace it more. I'm particularly sensitive to this thing because in addition to being a teacher, I'm also a professional musician. And so I spend a lot of time learning new material or learning new techniques. And I come up against my own resistance when it comes to difficulties in learning. I'll be attempting to learn some new figure or something like that. And I need to know the pace at which I work, and I need to know how to give myself a lot of space, and I need to know how to give myself a lot of nurturing in order to get through the moment. I also experienced this a lot when I was working for Kaplan, because whenever you learn a new test, you can't just teach a test. You have to learn the script for the test, but you also have to know how to perform well on the test. And so and also there's always new questions and new skills in tests that you need to learn. I never stopped learning is the whole point. I've been teaching for 20 years, but I'm still a learner just like you. And so I know how to make it easier on myself. And I would like to work with you because I would like to figure out what it is that makes you tick, what it is that allows you to process information the best. And I want to get it so that you learn how to teach yourself, because the most important thing is that you're going to be learning for the rest of your life, and you may as well have like a good education or a good relationship with knowing how to overcome difficulties. We could start right here with whatever it is, whether you're coming to me for music lessons or you're coming to me for lessons on reading comprehension or mathematics, whatever it is, we can work through it together. and we can work through it at a pace that you feel comfortable with, and you're going to come out of it with mastery of the subject, and you're going to come out of it feeling a whole lot better about that subject, and you're going to come out of it feeling more fearless about taking on new difficulties. Anyway, just wanted to introduce myself. I hope to be talking with you soon, and I hope to be working with you soon.